a pun god!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Cheap Smut. My name is Katie Mizell.
And my name is Carl Mizell.
And this is a podcast all about how my life got turned upside down. I couldn't think of anything else.
No, that's okay.
There you go.
That's fine. You did what you had to do.
Sometimes you have to fall back on Will Smith.
Totally understand. How are you, honey?
Oh, I am good, thank you. I am very good. I just put our adorable children to bed, and I am happy that I did so because I love them. But I've had enough. I've had enough of them.
Same.
Although our son, our oldest child, was extra adorable right before bed. We now have this ritual that we do where he wants to have one of my tiny cough drops. I carry around a little container of tiny Hall's cough drops, and he wants one before bed every night so he can have fresh breath while he sleeps.
It's very important.
And I'm not going to say no to that. So then we each have one, and then he makes this face that he like he screws himself up, and he gets through that first brutal 15 seconds where the mint is too much for his tiny little mouth and the menthol, because they are like Hall's soothing mentholated Arctic mint cough drops or whatever. It's brutal, but he screws up his brave little face. It's so fucking cute. Anyways, I just went off on a little tangent about how much I love my children.
No,
it's all I ever do, really. I love them so much.
It's totally okay. I had a virtual meeting today with a prospective client, and that's usually like when I share my screen, I usually don't have my presentation up, so it's almost always a picture of either you or one of the kids or some combination thereof.
Right. So that constantly cycling background of pictures.
Exactly. And the woman that I was talking to today was just marveling. She's like, no, let's
just stay here. I want to look at your pretty kids.
Let's just look at the kids. And I was like, hey, man, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can talk shop.
I mean,
we can talk shop later. It's totally okay.
As long as she doesn't want to know any information, she just wants to look at what I consider to be the most beautiful children on the planet. Absolutely.
You don't want to talk about compliance ratios or anything like that, or DIR fees.
No.
Great. I'm all on board. Because that stuff bores me to tears, and that's my job.
It's your job, yeah.
It is. Before we continue, though, I want to point something out. It's been okay so far. But if my voice at any point sounds weird, if there's a slight lisp in my voice, it is because I currently have a broken tooth that I am waiting to get repaired. And so the combination of the jagged tooth rubbing on the side of my tongue has caused some swelling. And now I have jammed some essentially paraffin wax, like tooth repair stuff.
Yeah, it's plastic.
It's plastic.
It's plasticine. You just melt it to your teeth.
Exactly. So this should be the only episode that this is a problem. I'm supposed to get it fixed on Valentine's Day.
Yep.
If you didn't see it on TikTok, the very nice woman at the dentist's office was like, yeah, man, for some reason we're wide open on Valentine's Day. I don't know why anybody would not want to come to the dentist on Valentine's Day. Like, Linda, you're a grown woman. You know exactly why.
Well, yeah.
People are going to be doming each other.
Well, yeah. I mean, she knows why.
She just didn't want to say it to me.
She's just making the joke like, well, I certainly don't know why.
Oh, no. She looked completely confused. But, yeah, whatever. It's fine. So if you hear that, disregard. I'm fine. I'm not doing a bit or anything like that. Just got a broken tooth. And I've been suffering from headaches all week because your mouth tries to relearn how to talk, and you're trying to comfort your tongue and talk in a way that it doesn't.
Yep, you're compensating, and now all of your muscles are all messed up and your head hurts. Yep.
Exactly. I've got DOMS. I've got delayed onset muscle soreness in my skull.
Yep.
I'm used to it in my thighs or my hamstrings or my chest.
Hammies.
Oh, yeah, all the hammies. So thank you for listening to us talk about our children. Again, we are those parents. And my broken tooth, but that's not what we're here for.
No.
We are here to talk smut. And what smut are we
Yes.
talking about this week?
This week, I read By the Horns, which is the first book in the Fated Flatmates series by Jemma Croft.
That is a great series title.
Yes, it is.
It strikes me as like if Being Human had gone further.
Sort of. Yeah. Sort of.
I mean, like if they'd have taken Being Human and just ran with it.
As far as they could go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in a lot of ways. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's the first thing that popped into my head. I can't wait to hear it.
Gemma will be very glad that you mentioned Being Human because she is British.
Well, that doesn't mean anything.
Well, the British one is better, is what I was getting at.
Oh, okay.
And I was going to gush and be like, well, Gemma will know that the British one is better of
Yeah.
Being Human.
Yeah. I just it was like this weird well, she's British. Of course, all British people watch every British television
No,
show.
I don't know that they do or not. I was just going to gush about how the British television version of almost everything is better than the American version.
I have yet to see that be the inverse. There's a notoriously bad version of that when they tried to Americanize the IT crowd.
Oh, yeah.
When they were going to they kept Richard Ayoade, they replaced Chris O'Dowd with Joel McHale, and I cannot remember who replaced the Jen character. The pilot is out there on YouTube.
I would never want to watch that. It sounds a bit cursed.
It's
as our son would say.
It is abysmal. No one looked happy.
No. I mean, there are versions of American remakes that are good. I mean, like
Yeah.
Queer as Folk. Queer as Folk is pretty good.
Shameless, I think is
Shameless a remake?
I believe so, yeah.
The Office obviously is not. It's not anything like it morphed into its own thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if those two are actually comparable.
Yeah. All right. So it's not entirely unheard of.
No.
I would even argue that the two versions of The Office are completely like the only thing they really took was the name and like the loose concept because the characters behave so wildly differently that anyway.
I don't know enough about it to really speak on it. I just know that they are so wildly different that I wouldn't compare the two.
Well, let's stop talking about those
Yes.
British people.
Why have we gone off on a second tangent?
Look, we were on hiatus and we didn't have a chance to digress
Yep.
away from the main
we didn't have any
topic.
microphones to just speak into
Yeah.
because we love the sound of our own up our asses millennial voices.
In our defense, our voices are magnificent.
Oh, they're so beautiful, especially mine right now because it's a little tired, so it's got that sexy growly thing going on.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's begin our book, shall we?
Yes, let's.
This book, as I said, is book one in the Fated Flatmates series. It is $4.99 or available through Kindle Unlimited. I did not check to see if Jemma has copies available on a website, so double check for that. This book is not to be confused with By the Horns, an Insta-Love Monster Romance by Audrey Beck, or By the Horns, a Gay Erotica by Eli Ellsworth. Because there are three of them if you search By the Horns on Kindle.
Do you understand her? They are not to be confused. This is a threat.
No, it's not even close.
I know. I just love that phrase. Not to be confused with, like, don't you fucking dare.
Anyway, there are three of them, and they sound like they would fill three very different niche reading needs. So
Yeah.
you've got this one, which is a long-form contemporary monster smut, and then you've got an insta-love monster novella and a gay monster novella. So
There you go.
got it going on, whichever one you want.
Something for everyone.
Something for everybody. But for this one, our triggers are themes of discrimination, threats of violence, casual drug use, and descriptions of dead animal flesh.
I prefer professional drug use.
Oh no, I'm gonna stay amateur as long as possible because I want to go to the Olympics.
Yeah, you definitely got to. Which is funny. They still drug test for the drug Olympics. It's really weird.
Well, they got to test to make sure you have the right drugs
Exactly.
in your system.
Exactly. You're in the wrong competition.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry. This is an uppers competition. You have downers in your bloodstream. That's cheating.
Oh, sorry, man.
Don't worry about it. It happens all the time. You want to go to the chill tent?
Yeah.
The drug Olympics would have a chill tent. You know they would.
That's also where the medal podium is.
In the chill tent?
In the chill tent.
Absolutely it is. Because
All
it's beanbags.
Metal podium with three different beanbags.
They're all just chilling up there. Blitzed. Wearing medals and just drooling.
We might be trying to set a record for how long we go before we actually talk about them. Because Jemma, we're so sorry.
We're the worst.
We're
the worst. Okay, our tropes this week are grumpy sunshine, found family, only one bed, and fated mates. And I am also going to add shifted sex, which is not always in a shifter romance, but it's in this one.
All right.
And then we don't have much by way of sex content except for tail play and massive genitalia.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
He's a bull, Carl. This is a Minotaur book.
So he could be a poorly hung bull. We just wouldn't know it. Like he's
for all I know.
Yeah.
For all I know. He's got the smallest PP in the village. I don't know. He's just massive as a creature.
Well,
so.
I can't wait to hear about his comically large cock.
Let's begin. So this story takes place in the fictional world of the 8.5 Kingdoms, which is a large. What do they call those? The massive the
Archipelago?
No, like when Lord of the Rings, where it's all one giant continent. It's called like a supercontinent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that. And Jemma was kind enough to provide a map to us.
Oh.
So this is the 8.5 Kingdoms.
Okay.
It's separated into 3 distinct sections. To the north is the mythic realm, where humans almost never go. To the south is the human realm, where mythics almost never go. And right in the middle is Borderlands, where it's all mixed together.
Okay.
And most of this takes place right over here in the city of Remy.
In the Borderlands.
In the Borderlands.
All right.
It's not the Borderlands. It's Borderlands.
In Borderlands.
Like it's the name of the country. Borderlands.
Oh, the name is okay. Got it.
So, in Remy, humans and mythicals live together. It's basically like fantasy New York City.
Okay.
They have their problems, but they all have figured it out. Their laws and systems are well integrated and intersectional. In the words of our narrator, you walk down the road, and depending on the time of day or night, you see dwarves, fae, vampires, werewolves, gorgons, demigods, actual gods, or mythological beings. They just hang out. Everybody's there.
All right.
It sounds really cool.
Definitely, it's my kind of jam. And again, I know we've talked about this before. I think we talked about it as early as going back to Inked, at the very beginning of the show. Like, I love when authors just throw caution to the wind and say, fuck it, let's just have every possible, creature, mythical or otherwise, that we can throw in here.
Yep. It's like the author equivalent of fuck it, we ball.
They
just go for it.
And
they do it all.
And then make them fuck.
And then they make them fuck.
Yeah.
Like this book. So our FMC this week, her name is Josephina Silver. She goes by Joey.
Okay.
So I'll only ever call her Joey. She is gorgeous, incredibly flighty, kind of a mess. She is 34. She is fat. She has red hair, big titties, and great big eyes.
I was going to say, it could be you.
It could be me, except I don't have red hair.
No.
And I don't have big titties.
No.
As we've discussed before. Like, in terms of my proportionate body size, you would expect me to have a much larger rack.
Yeah.
But I don't.
No. But they are amazing.
Oh, thanks so much. So Joey is like the walking embodiment of ADHD. She's me.
You. Yeah.
So she works gig jobs. She makes impulsive decisions. Her life is kind of a mess. She's a bit of a wreck. She doesn't have her shit together. She's 34, and she's constantly on the edge of eviction.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. And she also has been deeply burned romantically, so she doesn't do relationships. She just sort of hops around.
Right.
She says the longest relationship she ever had was 6 weeks, and now she gets out before feelings could possibly be hurt. Just no. It's just a no for Joey.
All right. I mean, if that's what makes you happy.
Yeah. At the start of the book, she is in her very beloved vintage cherry red roadster, Little Red. She loves that car. God, she loved that car. And she is flooring it. And then she is hoofing it into the University of Remy, where she is late to attend one of those speed classes you have to take because she's got like 15 tickets and she's going to lose her license.
Oh, okay.
She's a speed demon. All she does, like, she's gotten so many tickets.
So what is this basically just like our world?
Oh, yeah.
Like just so it's
Yeah. This is the first. I think I was just thinking about this earlier. I think this is the first one we've done that's a contemporary fantasy.
Okay.
We are a modern world. There are phones and cars and businesses and
awesome.
Yeah. It's very cool.
All right.
So she gets to class after being like confused in the hallways and losing her way a couple of times, but she finally finds a class where she gives the paperwork to the teacher, who is a very buff man with the head of a hawk. He only wears a perfectly pure white kilt, and he has this like muscled, oiled up, perfectly gorgeous chest and the head of a hawk. This is Horace. No, really.
I'll immediately, my first thought was Jonathan.
Jonathan. If you haven't seen the D&D movie, what's wrong with you?
Should watch that again tonight.
We should. God, that movie's so good.
Anyway, Horace.
Yes, that one. And he is the teacher, and he's like, okay, welcome to class. You have to go sit back there next to this incredibly grumpy looking dude in the back.
I just love that she's late to a class that she has to take because she's constantly speeding.
Yes. She's late to everything all the time. That's why she's constantly speeding, because she has ADHD time brain problems
that
like
makes
me.
Sense.
Yeah.
All right.
Did I ever tell you about the time, not to digress again, but did I ever tell you about the time that I got a speeding ticket on the way to and on the way back from the day I went to college with my father to get all of my accounts set up and like get my dorm keys and stuff?
I remember.
That day sucked so fucking hard.
Yeah.
Because the second one, I didn't get a second ticket, but the second cop was just like, I had to take all of the information down from your first ticket so that I could call that cop so we could laugh about the fact that I pulled you over on the way home and you were going faster than you were on the first ticket. Like, holy fuck. Yeah, sorry, officer. I'm 19 and stupid.
But ain't I cute?
Oh, I'm adorable. Anyway, I have to get on my way to my job at Little Caesars because that's where I was working at the time. So she gets in this class and she is sat down next to this incredibly hot but very taciturn dude named Torin. She takes the seat and then Russ has them get started. Horace, sorry, they call him Russ. Has them get started on their lesson for the day, which is making a sugar rose, because this is cake decorating 101 and she walked into the wrong class.
Of course
she did. It's a very Joey thing to do, as they say many times in the book. It is a very Joey thing to do. But now she's very intrigued by Torin and also too embarrassed to leave. So she decides she's going to tough it out in this class. So she begins to make this little sugar rose and inspect Torin, who is very kindly, like, obviously he's not talking to her, but he's obviously showing her what to do.
Yeah.
So Torin is 6'11",
All right.
broad as a fucking barn, tan, has very long hair, which he always wears in a man bun. He is bearded and he has very long horns that come out of the front of his head. And also she can tell that he has a tail tucked inside of his jeans somewhere.
Is that a tail in your pants?
Or did you take a shit? Because it's in the back.
Or do you have a pool noodle in your pants for some?
Why would you do that? I don't.
Never know when a party's gonna break out, bruh.
Right. Is it a tail in your pants, or do you have one of those special sitting pillows for hemorrhoids?
It's a tail.
It's a tail. Okay, good to know. Anyway, Jesus. She tries to get to know him throughout this entire thing, but without much luck. Like, she gets one-word answers or grunts in reply. He is very, very grumpy. And by the time all is said and done, she has managed to not get a rise out of him, but she's saying things to him that are flirty and like a little too forward, and he cracks a smile, and everybody else in the class is like they're backing away slowly. And she doesn't know why. She doesn't understand why, because she doesn't know what he is. She's trying to take a guess at it, but it's very rude to ask. And it's also very rude to assume. Or, well, she's not sure if it's rude to ask, but she definitely knows it's rude to assume.
Now, in Joey's just a
Human.
just human.
Joey is a standard run-of-the-mill, average human
Got
woman. Delightful and wonderful, but
Got
human. So she doesn't know what he is, so she doesn't know why everybody is acting all concerned about him, except for the fact that he's like just a big grumpy wall.
Yeah.
At the end of class, she turns to leave and get her stuff, and then she turns back to say goodbye to him, and he is already gone. But she realizes that he has left his sugar paste rose for her and taken hers with him. Oh. That's so fucking cute.
I mean, it's a bit presumptuous to assume that that's what he did. He might have just grabbed the wrong one.
There is no way he wouldn't have known, because his was like pristine and beautiful, and hers was just like, okay, because it was her first time.
Okay.
Torin is very gifted at making cake decorations, at doing delicate cake deco. He's very good at it.
Good to know.
So the next morning, Joey goes to visit her very good friend Ash, who is a 2,000-year-old summer fae, and he is fabulous. I love him. Like, he has this little long, perfectly snow white hair and a perfectly manicured beard and mustache, and he's always walking around in caftans and drinking espresso martinis and gossiping, and I love him so fucking much. Anyway, so she goes to see him every Thursday morning because she reads him Nikki Star books, their favorite human smut. It's almost impossible to get in the Borderlands. She has to get it special from the human realms, and she brings it every week to read to him. I fucking love it. It's so great. This book, I'm serious. I have no idea why this book is not fucking famous. Like, when I thought this book was famous when I started reading it because it was so good from the jump. No. It's not nearly famous enough. Everybody get on your fucking Kindle right now.
Well, let's give it the old cheap smut bump.
Let's give it the old college try at least, because this series deserves some love. Jemma Croft is hilarious.
And it sounds like there's some cozy elements.
There are cozy elements. It's not, none of the stakes are particularly high, but I wouldn't call it cozy because some of the main elements of the stories are like discrimination, and that is... that happens. It is depicted on page, you know.
Okay. But there are.
But it's otherwise really sweet and gentle and caring and light and wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah. So good.
Let's continue.
So she is with Ash. She tells him about what happens in class, and he hones in on the fact that she met a guy, and they try to guess what kind of mystic or mythic Torin might be. So she describes Torin to Ash, and then she says his name. And once she says his name, Ash is like, oh, I don't even need to know anymore. He's a minotaur. He's the only minotaur. He's the only minotaur in Borderlands.
Oh, God.
And he's famous because he's constantly breaking shit. He just got arrested like a couple of weeks ago for leveling the local...
China shop?
It's called Iker. It's like their Borderlands Starbies.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
He leveled one because the barista was a prick to him. Totally deserved to be leveled.
I want to know what a Borderlands weight rose look like.
I don't even know, but it would be great because they eat all kinds of strange things, and yeah.
And that's the extent of my British knowledge.
Yes.
English knowledge, excuse
English
me.
knowledge. What does a Borderlands Tesco look like? So he tells her about minotaurs. Now that they know what they're dealing with, he warns her that minotaurs they've only been allowed in Borderlands for like 15 years because they are considered incredibly dangerous. When they go full red, when they see red, they go completely mindless and they will destroy anything in their path. He doesn't want her to necessarily get involved with Torin because he is dangerous, and obviously he's like, you know, he's got a rap sheet.
Yeah.
But Joey doesn't think that she needs to worry about any of that. Like, really right off of the bat, when she thinks about him like delicately making this tiny sugar paste rose and like smiling gently at her. She doesn't think of him as a dangerous person. Right. She didn't get dangerous vibes off of him. So when she tells Ash that, and she also tells him that she gets this feeling in her chest when she thinks about him, like heartburn or butterflies or something like that. And he very quickly changes the subject to like, let's get drunk now. So no more talking about our feelings. Ash doesn't want to talk about feelings anymore. We're going to drink espresso martinis. At that point, we flip to Torrin's perspective for the first time in a flashback to 3 months prior when he destroyed that coffee shop, and he managed to just slip out of that arrest because the officer who arrested him was so terrified that he forgot to read him his rights. So that's it. His lawyer, an orc named Electra, who's worked with him before, because this is not the first time this has happened, manages to get him like therapy and night classes and anger management or whatever it is that they need, but he's not going to jail. But she warns him that if this happens again, the police commissioner, who is gunning for him already, will increase whatever his sentence might be on his final strike from 15% to 50% of his expected lifespan, which is how they do prison sentences in this realm, because some of the beings are expected to live hundreds or thousands of years. So they do it by percentage expected lifespan.
Wow.
So like one of Torrin's roommates went to jail for 100 years because he's a vampire. So he went to jail for 100 years. That's crazy. Also, just for funsies, she spells jail the good old-fashioned way. Gaol.
Oh, like in Elden Ring.
Yeah.
The first time I was like, what? It's jail.
It's jail. Yeah.
I would have never started fucking around with those places if I had known that
they were jails.
That there was something deadly in there
Yeah.
that was going to kill me, a la all the other FromSoft games.
Well, I guess you should have known just by being where you were.
I know. I should.
Yeah.
Gee, what could have tipped me off? Was it the giant FromSoft logo that it pops up at the load screen every time? Might as well just say, you're going to fucking die. That's what those games should be called. Anyway, jail.
Anyway, so the commissioner is gunning for Torrin. Electra tells him, be on your best fucking behavior, and you have to start taking night classes and proving that you can be a productive citizen. Flip back to Joey's perspective. We have a flashback of the exact same timeline, exact same day. Joey gets pulled over for the stop that ultimately leads her to going to speed class by the same officer who arrested Torrin that morning.
Pants still full of piss.
Pants still wet. Yep, still reeking of pee. But in that traffic stop, Joey was in the middle of delivering food, because that's what she does. She delivers food for like various local mythic restaurants. She lost her job because the food was so late, so she and the officer sit on the side of the road and eat the food together, and so she and the officer have like a nice little connecting moment.
Oh, nice.
It's cool. It's kind of fun. I liked it. It was cute. Back to the present day, Torrin comes home from class and chats with one of his flatmates. All of the fated flatmates are Torrin's flatmates. There are 4 of them.
Okay.
So there will be 4 books total. Torrin, and then he comes home to see his best friend, Goldie, who is a mountain nymph, and also a video game designer. Goldie is horny as fuck. Like all he does is have sex. They make it very, very clear that all he wants to do is have sex, and the fact that he hasn't had and never will have sex with Torrin kind of kills him a little bit, even though they're best friends. Because he's just real horny like that.
I love my friends, but I mean, I guess that's where the extent of my horny stops. I'm a pretty horny guy, but that's where it ends. Just for you, I love my friends.
Oh yeah, but you wouldn't be like a little bit sad.
Yeah.
If like Matt never wanted to fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's funny. Okay. Yeah, all right.
All right.
You and Goldie are different people.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. So Torrin shifts into his full bull-headed form, which is his more comfortable form, but he doesn't wear that in public. And when he's in that form, he is like 9 feet tall and like 6 feet wide, and his arms are like the same size as his torso. And he has the head of a full-on bull. He calls it going full bull. And he's got these like giant horns. He's massive.
And then I would love it if you know, he knows like he can control it, and like he's getting ready to go, and you mess with the bull, you get the horns as he transforms. And then somebody's like, oh God, he quoted the Breakfast Club right before he killed me. Oh! Yep,
exactly.
Anyway,
died thinking about that principle. Unfortunate. So he transforms into his bull self, and he sits down and he like smokes a joint and plays some video games with Goldie, and he talks to him about this girl that he met. And from Goldie's perspective, Goldie doesn't like humans. It's a Fae thing. They have their own biases. And he basically says you should fuck her and get it out of your system.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, Torin goes to therapy and asks his therapist about what he should do. And she says you should wait until after you're done with all of your court-required stuff and don't fuck up your future. Because if she makes you feel that, like, horny and passionate, then you might lose your cool around her. So you might want to be careful. But what he has not told either of these two people is that she is his fated mate, and he felt it the second that he saw her. That's the feeling that she got inside of her chest that she didn't understand. Feels like anxiety, feels like heartburn, feels like butterflies. That's the bond.
Mm-hmm.
They're fated mates, and they've been bonded since the second they looked at each other. Womp womp. And now Torin doesn't know what to do because he is terrified that the feelings that he is already feeling for this person he doesn't know are already feeling overwhelming, and he doesn't want to hurt her.
Yeah.
He's worried that, like, when he goes into his full rages, he doesn't have any control. He doesn't even remember what happens, and he doesn't want to, like, go into a horny rage and, like, force himself on her.
Yeah.
He's terrified of that. So instead he's like, I just won't talk to her anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask to have her moved. But also, he doesn't think she was in the right class. He's like, I'm pretty sure she wasn't even supposed to be there. So maybe she won't even be there next week and it'll all be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler.
She'll be there.
She'll be there. The next morning, Joey watches wailing and crying through the window as Little Red, her beautiful car, is officially impounded because she didn't attend speed class. She needs to get her car back because that's her livelihood. So she calls the university and registers for the next available class, but that's not for 2 weeks. And it will cost her 500 silver to take, which means she will not be able to pay rent again for the 4th month in a row. Joey is a mess.
Yeah, she is. Holy cats.
And her livelihood, again, has just been towed away. So now she's fucked. She gets on public transportation to go to the university to get her fees paid. On the way, she calls her mom and has a nice little conversation with her mother and gets to catch up on the family. Joey has some bad blood in the family. It's a very complicated relationships. It doesn't all get revealed until a lot later. But for now, we'll just say that she does not speak to her sister, and she won't go home, and she won't say why, but it was bad. Okay. So her mom is calling just to tell, or she calls her mom and she just to ask how things are going. Is their dad still part of that, like, alt-right anti-monster pipeline that he was in and stuff? Turns out no, he's not, because her brother-in-law, whom we will not speak of for whatever reason, she won't talk about him, she doesn't want to hear his name, is also mythic and has been helping their dad come to terms with some stuff.
No, well, that's good.
And he's doing a lot better now.
They got him weaned off of Borderlands Fox News.
Exactly. He goes to a different pub now, is what their mom says. He goes to a different pub now, so he's not hanging out with that crowd anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it.
And then her mom asks if she will please come home for dinner for the Harvest Festival, which is in, like, 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. It's a big deal. Mom really wants her to come home to have Harvest Festival dinner. Her sister will not be there. It'll just be them. And maybe she could even, like, bring home, I don't know, a date if she wanted to. Her mom's not getting any younger, and she could, like, use some grandkids soon. Frankie Silver is an absolutely lovely woman, and she's another one of the fantastic mothers of smut. But she is like all of the other mothers of smut. She's like, I want grandbabies. Yeah. And I want them now.
That's a great band name, by the way.
Mothers of Smut.
The Mothers of Smut.
Yes. The venerated Mothers of Smut.
Ooh.
Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I'm stealing it. I'm tattooing it on me. You can't take it. It's fine.
Hello, Cleveland.
I'm writing it down right now. The venerated Mothers of Smut. I'm actually doing it.
Honey, that microphone's on and you're being recorded. We'll just remember it.
No, but I just want to write it on my skin.
Oh, okay.
That microphone is on. Oh, no. What did you think I was doing? This pen doesn't work on my arm. Fuck it. Never mind.
Don't worry.
We'll remember it. It's recorded.
Yeah. I'll hear it in like 24 hours at almost 2 times speed. And I'll be like, oh, hey, remember.
Oh, hey, remember. Venerated Mothers of Smut. I wonder how it'll sound when it's that fast, because I just said it's super, super fast.
I'll play it for you.
Anyway, Anyway, ultimately Joey does agree to go home for winter or for the Harvest Festival dinner, and she will be coming alone. Mom, thank you so much. At the school, she pays for her speeding course, and then she tries to enroll in Cake Decorating 101 because she wants to see Torin again, but she can't afford a second set of fees. So she goes to leave, but Russ happens to catch her in the lobby and just starts handing her shit to go to class with, because it's also class time.
No, you don't understand. I'm not supposed to be.
Yeah. So she's like, well, if I just don't say anything and I play it right, he'll think I'm in the class and I can just keep going to the class.
Yeah. I'm auditing.
Exactly. But you have to fill out paperwork to audit something. But so she goes to class. On the way there, they have a quick conversation where she basically like very vaguely tells him that she wants to make a decision that could have like real like grown-up consequences. She's used to flying by the seat of her pants and following her whims, but this whim might land her on her face. And
she's having this conversation with Russ?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Horace, the god of kings, and also the guy who teaches Cake Deco 101, tells her to seize the day because her life is very short because she's human. And she only has like 100 years, so she better figure her shit out.
Me? I'm going to be here for 1,500 years. I can do whatever.
He's Horace. He's never going to die.
Well, there you go.
He's a god. There is mention many times throughout this book of the pathetically short lifespan of humans in comparison to like the Fae who live for hundreds of thousands of years or whatever. Yeah. And we're just like what 95? That's amazing.
So we're like that meme about dogs.
The way
they
we are the hamsters of
the hamsters of that world.
Yeah. Relative time span, yes. Yeah. We're the goldfish of Borderlands.
What happened to Joey? Dude, she died.
She died.
When? 8,000 years ago.
What?
What? I just saw her. It feels like the other day.
Oh my God, the time dilation of immortality.
Oh, fuck, man.
Or, as I would prefer to think of it, because I have thought of this as a mechanic for a book that I am working on inside my head right now, more like you have a limited amount of brain. Like me from Doctor Who.
Yeah.
You just forget stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was 5,000 years ago. Who's Joey?
The fuck are you on about?
Anyway, back to this book again.
Not you. I know what you're on about.
You know what I'm on about. No.
I want to make sure everybody didn't think I just asked my wife what the fuck she was on about.
No, obviously, because no one's hearing tussling sounds or me screaming right now.
You can't hear the sound of me getting my ass beat.
Yep. So Horace encourages her to seize the day, and she walks into class. When Torin walks into class, Joey addresses him as Horns, and Torin responds by calling her Peaches. These are their names now. They will never call each other anything else. It's very, very cute. They just established it right now. She calls him Horns. He calls her Peaches.
All
the
right.
end. So Torin spends the entire class obsessing over Joey, like to the point that he can't function. Like he's alternating between like extreme fear and extreme horny. Yeah. That's all he's got going on right now. And while he's pondering all of this and thinking about her, he's just like staring down at her and not getting a single thing done in class until Russ announces at the very end of class that they are going to be going on a field trip at the end of the semester. They are going to CakeCon. In the city of St. Cloud. There is a student competition at CakeCon, and they will be entering in pairs. This terrifies Torin. He's like, "Oh no, I can't be paired with her on something. Oh no."
This isn't just a Fated Mates book, it's a Fated Cakes book.
Oh my God, Carl.
I am a pun god.
Fated Cakes. Fuck you. I love it.
Thank you.
It's insane. Huh?
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
I forget that you don't have headphones on. I could hear me breathing in these headphones. So I was just like, thank you. And you were like, fucking what?
What? I have headphones. I'm just not wearing them. They even have cute little horns on them. You bought them for me for Christmas.
I bought them and everything, yeah.
Yeah. So after class, Torin asks Russ to please switch him and Joey to different partners because he can't stand being around her. He can't take it. Russ tells him no. He leaves all stoic and mopey, and then he immediately runs into Joey, who heard all of that in the hallway, but took completely different context and thinks that Torin hates her guts.
Naturally.
But she doesn't let him know that she heard because if they win the student competition at CakeCon, they win 5,000 silver, and she is broke.
Yeah.
And Torin is really, really good at decorating cakes, so she will fucking chin up and bear it.
Yep. Just ride that literal tail.
Yep.
Ride his coattails, regular tail, face, whatever. So she suggests that they go grab something to eat and talk about the competition and make a plan for the cake so that they can work on winning this 5,000 silvers prize, 2,500 each. 2,500 will solve a lot of problems for her. They go to the student bar / restaurant, which is this massive medieval tavern full of theme park kitsch and like medieval warmth and character. It sounds very fun. It's called Tallywhackers. Which is just so good. They have dinner together and drink a beer. Torin is suddenly very warm and open and friendly and telling her all about himself, about the fact that he's a vegan, mostly because he's a cow. And it's okay if she eats the chicken sandwich. No, it's absolutely fine. It might be a little bit awkward if you ordered a steak, that kind of thing. And they're having this fantastic time. They talk about their roommates. There are flirty jokes. The banter is spot on. Again, one of the best things about this book is the thing I can't tell you, which is all of the dialogue. Yeah. And eventually they start like full on flirting with each other, and she gives him her number so that they can talk about the cakes for sure. Of course.
But she puts her number in his phone as Joey from Cake Deck with 2 peach emojis. So
Joey from Cake Deck?
Cake decorating class.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Cake Deco, I think. Joey from Cake Deco, 2 peach emojis.
Gotcha.
Very important. Gotta know that she got booty for days.
Yeah.
She then asks him why he is suddenly so very different now, because he's been this like grumpy asshole with his hood up scowling every time she's seen him, and now he's suddenly very nice. And he's like, yeah, it's because I don't like being in that room full of people. Every single one of them is waiting for me to like snap and break something. They're all watching me all the time. I hate it. This is better. Everybody here is drinking and paying attention to themselves. They don't care what I'm doing. He then explains who all of his roommates are. So his roommates are Goldie, the nymph that we already met, Dima, who is a vampire and a retired gentleman of leisure because he created and then sold the alcoholic blood company Blues. Blooze. Yes. Yep. And Mal, who is an incubus sex worker. He owns the flat, and he's also sort of the group dad figure. Oh, I'm sorry. Skip back. They finished at the pub. He went home. Then we met all the roommates.
Okay.
I confused my own timeline in my notes by jumping around a bit. So the roommates first give Torin a hard time about having a human crush. It's cute. This is the found family from the found family trope. It's these 4. They're a delight. I love them. They're so fucking cute. And I'm sure as they add mates to this situation, it's only going to get more delightful. Then in the kitchen, Mal and Torin speak privately. Mal has had a fated mate, so he understands it better than most people. However, Mal had a human fated mate, and Mal's immortal.
Yeah.
So, ouch.
Yeah.
This is the first version of this kind of mating bond I have ever read, where you could drastically outlive your fated partner. That's wild. That has to hurt like a son of a bitch.
Is that the only one? Like, will they never find another fate? Like, if you're immortal,
I don't know, honestly, because Mal has a book in the series. It hasn't come out yet, but she also implies sort of that you may be able to have more than one.
Okay, all right.
So
yeah,
I don't know. Could be. But so in this situation, Mal gives him some advice because he understands a little more about mates, especially being mated to a human. Number one and most important thing is Torin can't hurt her. He never would. Yeah. He won't. The bull would never let him, but he will be incredibly protective of her at all costs. If anything should happen to her, he'll go full bull and he will destroy shit. Yeah. So be careful, so basically.
Keep going to therapy.
Exactly. He then tells him to, take it slow. Don't rush into this. the bond will be there, and once they have sex, the bond is sealed. So like you need, like, if you want to work her into this slowly, you can't just magically seal yourself to her forever, basically. So Torin is like, fuck, I guess there's only so much I can do. Good luck. Good luck to me. Off I go. And then we get a whole week of Joey and Torin just texting back and forth, which is really fucking cute. I love it when shit like that happens. Until Joey accidentally, jokingly, lecherously asks him for a picture of him in full bull because he's at work, and he's a lumberjack. So he goes full bull and like hauls logs around all day. He also makes furniture. So he was like, yeah, I had to go full bull and like haul around a big log. And she was like, picture it didn't happen. She was just being funny. Turns out that's a very uncomfortable thing to ask him. And he's upset. So he doesn't talk to her until class the next day. And the very first thing he does is accuse her of like, oh, you just want to see me in my full bull form. Like he's upset about it. And she apologizes. She says she was just trying to make him laugh. She never wanted to hurt him, but he needs to tell her more stuff about being a minotaur so that she knows.
Right. Yeah.
Because if she doesn't know what will upset him, she's at constant risk of hurting his feelings by mistake.
And nobody wants that. Exactly.
So the first thing they do then is that they chat about Torin's home. So Torin is from like the Winterlands. It's up in the very northeast corner of that map, where all of the Minotaur live, and they all live full bull all the time. The fact that Torin wanted to embrace any part of his human self made him a pariah in his community, and when he left home, he was disowned.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, because I was curious. Like you said that Minotaurs had only been in Borderlands for 15 years.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, and he's the only.
Yeah.
So I was like, is he the last of his? He's not the last of his kind. He's just the
only one who's there.
Because none of the other Minotaurs want to.
Well, he came down to Borderlands with his sister. Him and his sister Tina were the first two Minotaur to decide they wanted to go to Borderlands.
Okay.
They wanted to see the wider world, and she got driven back home.
Gotcha.
Already. So he's the only one left, and his family won't talk to him anymore because of the amount of time he spends in his regular humanoid form. Quote, death before forward facing eyes, which is hilarious to me. Fucking hilarious. Joey then tells him that she left home for the same reason, because the human realm is full of human supremacists, and she didn't like being there anymore. Just a lot of like small. The way it's described in the book, so the human realms are like the English countryside. It's just like small cottages and little villages and like one or two big cities. And then I don't know if Borderlands is more like America, maybe, because Remy sounds a lot like New York, and St. Cloud, which we get to later, sounds a lot like Las Vegas.
All right.
So maybe. At the end of that class, Russ announces that the university will be getting their accommodations in St. Cloud. All they have to do is sign a form. But Joey can't do that because she isn't actually enrolled in the class. So she has to figure out something else to do. They go to Tallywhackers again after class, and Torin tells her not to worry about it because he was going to get them rooms anyway, because the rooms that the university would provide are not big enough for his body. And if he's getting a bigger room for himself, then he's getting a bigger room for Joey too. They will not be sharing a room, because the university has very strict rules about that, apparently.
Well, luckily I was paying attention during the tropes, so.
Yeah, exactly. This is the point where Joey admits that she is not in the class. Torin's like, duh. And then he asks where she was supposed to be, and she tells him all about her speeding problems and her chronic lead foot. He then feels safe to tell her about his rage problems, and also all of the things that he's never really told anyone about what it's like to see red, which is that it's not a solo affair. It doesn't just happen. It is provoked out of him by other creatures, usually dragons, because they're antagonistic as fuck. But Minotaurs already have such a reputation, and he always goes fugue and doesn't remember what happened, so he can't defend himself in court. And that's why his life is fucked the way it is, basically. Right. But he tells her that the classes are actually helping, and therapy is helping, and he feels a lot more calm now, and he thinks that things are getting better. And she's like, fuck yeah, that's amazing. She is so supportive of him and like just wanting him to have the life he wants to have. She's so sweet. I love Joey Silver very much. I love her very much. Joey spends another morning with Ash where he asks what she is wearing to the awards ceremony at CakeCon, and she says, "Oh, I don't know." And he says, "Oh, don't worry about it. I have the perfect gown for you. It was worn by an actual Golden Age Borderland movie star. I've had it in storage." And he just gifts it to her, and it's perfect.
That's so random, but I love it.
I know, right? Well, I mean, this is what happens when you have friends who are millennia old summer fae. They are rich and famous and, fabulous and wonderful and very, very eccentric.
Still, though.
And they'll hand you like vintage Hollywood garb for free.
It's a magnificent detail.
I know, right? It's so good. She tries the dress on. It looks absolutely perfect. He advises her to buy condoms because because if she wears this dress to the ceremony, she's getting fucked.
Yeah, no, I understand that part of it. I'm just trying to. I can't wait to go to the Borderlands Walgreens to be like,
oh my God, there is a scene in Borderlands Walgreens. Did you know that there are 3 aisles of condoms because of the sheer number of appendages?
That's why I'm dying.
Well, I just told you the scene.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Do you have size comically large?
She had to get ogre-sized condoms.
What am I going to put this on me?
The whole body.
It's a full body condom. Or one minotaur dick.
After their next class, they go to get food at a local food truck, and they are confronted by the dragon who pissed him off at the Starbucks, at the Iker, whose name is George. And Torin starts to shift, and it's about to get real bad again, but Joey intercedes and makes George leave, and Torin never fully shifts, and he is able to maintain his control. He leaves, though, immediately afterwards, citing his concerns about Joey because she stepped in front of what was about to be a raging minotaur, even though it was very obvious that he was never, ever going to hurt her. He goes home. He talks to Mal again, who tells him that when he said go slow, he didn't mean this fucking slow. Like, you're going so slow now that you're so horny you can't control yourself. So maybe, like, fuck her a little bit, I guess. But don't fuck her without a condom, because super interesting fun fact that'll make you make a funny noise. Are you ready?
Hold on. Yes.
If a minotaur comes in you, you're married.
Well, then I've got bad news for you.
Oh
No,
my
I'm
God,
kidding.
really?
Look, it was really... I'm just kidding.
No, okay, but my face probably lit up a little too much because I was like, I have a husband? Another husband? A minotaur one?
Husband-in-law?
A husband-in-law?
Husband-in-law.
A brother husband.
A brusband. No, you do not. But that's fascinating.
It is fascinating. Yeah.
I thought you bought a condom. It broke. Now we're married.
Now we're married. Exactly. But yeah, if a minotaur comes in you, you're married and you're part of his herd now. His harem, his herd.
Jeez,
I know. It's fucking crazy. So quick chapter from Mal's point of view. He calls the hotel where Torin originally made the reservations and upgrades them to the honeymoon suite and puts it all on his credit card.
Aww.
He's trying to get the man laid at this point. At their next class, Torin and Joey speak for the first time after he nearly shifted, and he basically tells her that he's sorry that he left, but he needs her, and he knows that there is something between them, and she knows it too. So they just keep on keeping on. Everything's gonna be okay. She doesn't know about the imprinting, and he doesn't want to tell her and scare her away, but he's also like incredibly fucking horny and in love with her, so like he's treading this really weird line.
Yeah.
He invites her to his place for after class, and they go to his place where he agrees to show her his shifted form for the first time, so she gets to see full bull Torin, and she isn't afraid of him at all. She like puts a sweet little kiss on his big velvety bull nose, which is absolutely adorable, and then he immediately shifts back into regular human Torin and makes out with her for a while until Goldie comes home, and then the moment passes. The next scenes are bus ride to CakeCon because they take a coach. while they're at the rest stop in the middle of that trip, Joey receives 2 phone calls. One from roommate Christy, who says that if she doesn't get 3 months back rent in like a week, she's evicted. And 2 from her dad, who has called to check in about festival dinner and make sure that she is coming. And also maybe ask her if she might have, I don't know, someone she's bringing home with her. You know, both of her parents are just like, do you have a partner yet, Josephine?
I heard if it's a minotaur, all he has to do is jizz in you and you're married.
Oh my God. They don't know that much about mythics. But anyway, so she does say that she does have a guy, but she doesn't think she's bringing him home. But she cites concerns that he is vegan. And to which her father really says, it's like, holy shit, kid, your mom's going to be so mad. You're bringing home a vegan. Minotaur, they probably couldn't care less. Vegan?
Yeah.
What? But she does. Anyway, they arrive at the hotel at St. Cloud. There's obviously only one bed in the honeymoon suite on the 30th floor of what is clearly Fantasy Vegas. And once Torin figures out that this is all Mal's doing and that all of the incidentals will also be going on Mal's credit card, they order room service and they crack open the minibar and they fill up the hot tub that is in their suite.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, while they are in the hot tub wearing clothes, because they are not to that point yet, things get kind of steamy, but then Joey freaks out and then bolts because like her feelings are too strong for her. She doesn't really understand what's going on and it's a little too much. So he tells her finally, because the thing that's freaking her out the most is the feeling inside of her chest that she does not understand. He tells her about the bond. He doesn't fully explain fated mates and imprinting and all of that, but he explains like it's magic. It's deep old magic. It's not something that we can change. And eventually she's like, okay, we will figure all of this out later.
That is a future us problem.
I am Tai. He makes her up a bed out of armchairs. Because he doesn't want to sleep in the bed with her, because when he sleeps, he reverts to full bull and he doesn't want to hurt her. So she curls up on these armchairs to go to sleep. He gets into the bed. Like an hour and a half later, she's like, this is bullshit. This is really uncomfortable. She crawls into bed with him and falls asleep. He wakes up in the morning as the big spoon. It's very cute. Things get all snuggly and hot and heavy. And I was like, finally, yes, they're going to have sex. Fucking finally. Because it's like 50% of the way through the book at this point. I am begging for them to have sex. And then Russ knocks on the door. They got to go downstairs. They have a meeting. This is the scene also where Joey finally tells him, like, I am terrified. I don't do relationships. I don't do commitments, but I want to have a relationship with you. And he's very excited about that. So they agree to start a relationship. And then they spend the day like walking around CakeCon and eating free samples and flirting and being cute. And then they go to the award ceremony. The dress nearly kills Torin. Like he nearly has a boner-induced stroke because all of the blood left his brain too fast.
Been there.
They make it through the very boring awards ceremony until finally the big prizes come and they won. Woohoo! Our lovely Torin and Joey won 5,000 silvers in the student competition with their take on Unity, an entire cake of Borderland. Like they made a cake of Borderlands and Torin made all of the regional flowers and sculptures and stuff with sugar paste. After the awards, there is dancing. Joey makes Torin dance no matter what he says. They both have a wonderful time until finally she kisses him and they head back to the room. And then I put this in my notes. I am about to go to bed. If I don't read these two fucking in chapter 26, I am coming for you, Croft. I'm very glad to say I'm not going to have to fight Jemma Croft because they fucked in chapter 26.
Good. I mean, the logistics, the flight, the airfare alone.
Getting me to the United Kingdom, wherever Jemma Croft may be. So after a very minor awkward encounter, because elevators are still public, children, you can't fuck in them. And they almost like killed this cute old couple who were walking into the elevator. And another near miss where Russ almost sees Joey come in the hallway. They finally get into the bedroom and have sex. And it was fantastic. It was fantastic. Again, Torin, huge, giant dick, of course.
Any mention of problems, or is it just a reality where we just accept that
they are fated mates?
So
she is made to fit him. Yes, of course, absolutely. It is magic, Carl.
I know, but
it is pussy magic. Damn it!
I get it. I do. but
I
still.
get very defensive about my dumb books.
No, it's not dumb.
I
It's
know.
just the
I know it is. The idea of a woman having sex with an actual bull man. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot. But they do. They have sex, and it's fantastic, and it's wonderful, and there is, like, giant dicks and pussy worshipping and riding, and condoms are remembered and applied correctly and safely. The sex is just fucking the pinching hand. So good. And also, let's just take like a brief moment to talk about horn jacking, because apparently horns are very sensitive. The entire book, he has been telling her not to touch them, and when he finally lets her touch them, it's like jacking 2 dicks at once. Apparently,
Whoa.
Yeah, big whoop, big fucking deal.
I gotta give me some horns.
After they finish and come down from that, they go for basically an immediate round 2 where Torrin fucks Joey in the hot tub with his tail. Tail play. And then a round 3 where Torrin fucks Joey from behind in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows in the bathroom of the 30th floor. So they look out across the skyline as they fuck, but they don't use a condom because Torrin forgot. Oh no. They're married now.
Oh, well, what happens in Vegas?
What happens in St. Cloud?
Say in fantasy Vegas.
Yeah.
Now, did I? Apologies if you mentioned it and I somehow missed it. Is he full bull when he
No.
has? Okay.
No, he's not. He's humanoid
Okay,
Torrin
gotcha.
at that point. So the next morning, like, they fall asleep after all of that. Torrin feels very guilty because he came inside of her and didn't give her the choice to like marry him. He is going to tell her very first thing when they wake up the next morning, but then Joey's like, surprise, blowjob, and he's not going to stop her from doing that. So he gets his blowjob, and then there's a knock on the door. It's time to leave. They have to gather all of their shit and get downstairs. It's time to go back. They go all the way back home, and they get to Torrin's house where all the flatmates are there. They have this really cute chat. It's another very cute found family scene. And then they have an evening of like just eating snacks and watching movies in bed. A lot of really cute domestic stuff happens. And she asks him to come to the Harvest Festival dinner at her parents' house. Initially, he's freaking out like, I don't know if I can meet her parents yet, but eventually he agrees. There is a very cute scene with Ash very quickly, and he offers Joey use of his lake house because he has a lake house in the human realms and it's not that far from her parents' house.
Oh.
So she's like, oh, we'll make a weekend of it. We'll go and see my parents for 1 night, and then we'll go to the lake house for 2 nights.
Ash was the vampire.
Ash is the Summer Fae
Summer
friend
Fae.
of hers.
Gotcha.
Yes. Then there is the adorable road tripping across the border where we meet Seraphina, a succubus who will eventually be Mal's partner.
Oh.
Yes. And also will be very useful later because she works for Border Patrol. And she's the one who lets them through. They get to Joey's parents' house, and they are delightful people. Like I said, Frankie Silver is amongst the very best of our smut moms. She's so sweet and wonderful. Both of them are. From Torrin's, like, all of this scene is from Torrin's perspective, and you can tell what he sees is a family who really care very deeply about their daughter and do not hold her flaws against her at all. And that's so refreshingly adorable, and I love it so much, because as a person like Joey with ADHD who lives life by the seat of their pants and their parents never understand why they haven't made different choices, it's so nice to see parents who just are like cool with it for 5 seconds, you know?
Yeah.
So their meeting is going extremely well. Frankie went to the farm shop and got special vegan cookies and oat milk for tea for Torrin, and they have a great time and they're having a good conversation. And then Joey goes upstairs to take a shower before dinner, and Frankie inadvertently blurts out something that Joey has been skirting around and not quite telling Torrin, which is the dragon that her sister Tilly is married to is her ex-boyfriend.
Wait, Joey's ex-boyfriend?
Yes.
Okay.
So Joey brought Wynn, the dragon, home to meet her family. She left him there at the house for like a couple of hours, and when she came back, he was fucking her little sister.
Oh.
Now, what she didn't know at the time was that they were fated.
Okay.
And that her little sister didn't know anything about Wynn because she hadn't told the family she was dating a dragon. So when she came home and met this hot dragon and the bond kicked in, she didn't know.
Yeah.
But Joey was heartbroken and ran away to Remy and never came home. Like, she's been gone for 10 years. That happened 10 years ago. Tilly and Wynn are obviously now married. They are fated mates. But
has anyone tried to explain this to Joey?
well, at the time, Joey, like, they tried to explain it, but she didn't want to understand it because her heart was broken.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Wynn was the first man she ever said, I love you to. And like 2 weeks later, he fucked her little sister.
Yeah.
That's hard.
That'll do it.
Yeah. She's pretty broken about it.
Yeah.
And it's also why she can't say I love you to Torin, even though she feels it.
Mm-hmm.
She's terrified of it. So once Torin hears all of that, he's pretty upset about all of it because Joey isn't the one who told him. And so he goes to leave. He goes for a walk until dinner. Frankie convinces Joey not to chase him down and follow him and just give him his peace and his space, and he will come back. And indeed he does. They talk about it. They say, well, Torin says, we'll get through dinner. We'll talk about it later. And everything seems like it's going to be okay. And then in walk Wynn and Tilly. Surprise! They weren't supposed to be here, but they are here for a surprise Harvest Festival dinner visit.
Oh, no.
And the shit hits the fucking fan. So the first thing that happens is Torin sniffs out that Tilly is pregnant, but nobody knew that yet, so he spoils the surprise. And then Wynn is an absolute prick. And I mean, like, he is an absolute prick. Like, the first thing he does is try to get Torin to leave all the way by saying that he is a carnivore, so they can't like have his vegan nut loaf at dinner or whatever, where he will be eating meat at the table. But Torin is like, oh no, it's fine. Everybody's different. It's okay. And they go to the dinner table. Everything is delightful. Like I said, Frankie worked really hard to make everything vegan for Torin, and he eats everything, including like this really great like vegan nut loaf thing. Sounds really, really good. The entire time, Wynn is trying to have a pissing contest, and Torin is doing his best to just shut it all down. But dragons are pricks.
Right.
And Torin hates dragons, and eventually, like, Tilly and Joey and Frankie, they are all out of conversation changers and distractions. There is nothing left. Joey is like just trying to stroke Torin's leg under the table, like, just breathe through it, boss. And Tilly is straight up yelling at her husband, like, what the fuck are you doing, you prick? You are ruining dinner right now. He busts out a hunk of meat, and when I say a hunk of meat, like, it is a piece of cow flesh with fur still on it, and starts mowing down on it at the table, and is like, I killed it this morning. He's a dairy farmer, so it's like a cow that he like. Jesus Christ, dude, he is trying to get a rise out of Torin, and everything is going fine until things get a little too tense. Joey stands up to get Torin to leave. Torin's starting to bust out of his shirt a little, like Hulk style. Torin stands up to leave with her because she can get him to get out of this house before things get really bad. And then Wynn decides to make one final parting shot about how he took both of the sisters' mythical virginity, which is just like fucked up. And then Torin fully transforms, and that's all Wynn needs to fully transform. And when he does, he turns into a full-on fucking dragon and explodes the house. God. The house is destroyed.
He's not welcome there anymore.
He has to be. He's fated to their daughter.
You went to stay outside.
Well,
End of the laneway.
You're not welcome at the house anymore because there is no house anymore.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. There's nothing. So he explodes the house. He razes it to the ground. Torin saves Joey's life because shrapnel was going to like crush her. Torin starts to attack Wynn. Wynn is blowing fire everywhere and he's having a fucking tantrum is what he's doing. He's having a big tantrum. Joey eventually walks right into the fray, convinces Torin to at least calm down. He is seeing red full bull means that he is an animal now. He's got nothing left, but he still recognizes, even the animal recognizes Joey. So she convinces him to leave because if he is caught on scene, he will be arrested and his life will be over. She gets him into Little Red in full bull. So he tears a sunroof into Little Red with his horns.
So they got Little Red back.
Oh, yes, they got Little Red back at some point because she did go to her speed class.
Yeah.
She did it. He tears the sunroof into Little Red with his horns and he drives away. And she goes back to find the home is destroyed. This is not her childhood home, by the way, so
Yeah.
nobody be too sad about it. It's just a house that her parents were living in. But the house is destroyed. Dad's on the phone with the insurance already, trying to get shit sorted.
What do you mean I need dragon insurance?
This is actually the beauty of it. I'll tell you about that later. But Mom has laid out a picnic blanket and is smoking the minotaur-sized blunt she found in Torin's stuff.
Fuck yeah.
Because Mom just needs to chill. Fuck yeah, Frankie.
Fuck yeah.
So Frankie and Joey sit down. Frankie basically tells her, yeah, of course, like this sucks, but it's not the important stuff. None of this is the important stuff. It's you guys. It's your happiness. It's my marriage. It's way more important than stuff. And if you can't trust a 64-year-old mother smoking a giant blunt on a picnic table while her house burns down around her to know what the important shit is, who do you trust?
Seriously.
You know what I'm saying? Frankie knows what's up. Anyway, so eventually all of that calms down. Dad is on the phone with the insurance. And then he comes over and he says, I think I fucked up. Because the first thing he did was he called the cops. And he mentioned that a minotaur was involved in the destruction of property. And so now there's been a report made of a minotaur in the human lands fucking up property. And the police commissioner Pounder, who has had it out for Torin for the last 10 years, finally has all that he needs. So Torin drives all the way home, and the first thing that happens is he is arrested. He's taken to Goal, Gaol.
Gaol?
Goal. 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 Jail. Anyway, either way, he's taken to jail. And even though Joey and her father got in the car to start following behind him as soon as they possibly could, they don't get home in time. So she is forced to try and figure out what to do next because Torin is now in jail. And his as far as his lawyer is concerned, when he first gets there, he's fucked. He's getting 50 years because there's nothing but a report of a minotaur and a burned out house. However, what Torin doesn't know and what Electra doesn't know is that as soon as they knew what was really going on, they called the cops back in the human realm and told them that it was the dragon that was destroying shit, not the minotaur. So there is already conflicting report. There are lots of conflicting reports, and several people from both the human realm and Borderlands have already called the commissioner's office to tell them that they need to let Torin go, but he won't do it because he has been trying for 10 years to get him into a prison cell. He has designed this so that the cell that he is put in is directly across the street from his office, and he can watch him through binoculars because he is like this twisted fucking vendetta against Torin. He wants to get him out of Borderland if it is the last thing he fucking does. It is wild.
Jesus, Sheriff Joe.
And the reason for this, why are men always pricks? Police Commissioner Pounder had an extramarital affair with Torin's sister Tina, and when that blew up in his face, he drove her back to Winterlands, but he couldn't even stand the fact that her brother was still in the fucking country, so he's been trying to have him arrested ever since.
Oh, Jesus.
Because he's just got an ego the size of a pea. Like, it's just, like, I don't understand. Why? This makes no fucking sense.
It does not.
In ignoring all of these claims of evidence of Torin's innocence, along with a bunch of other stuff, and the final puzzle piece falling into place of Joey hearing Commissioner Pounder's last name, they finally have everything they need because Wynn's last name is also Pounder. He's Torin's nephew. He knows all about.
Wait, who's Torin's nephew?
Wynn, the dragon.
Is Torin?
I'm sorry. Wynn is Commissioner Pounder's nephew.
Gotcha.
He knows all about Commissioner Pounder's dirty dealings, and now he has an incredibly pissed off pregnant wife that he needs to get back in her good graces. So Joey calls Tilly and is like, "Put your husband on the phone. I know how we're gonna fix this." And in the end, Torin is released. Police Commissioner Pounder is arrested on suspicion of many things.
Just being a real
being
piece
a
of
real
work.
rat ass. An absolute prick, if you will. And Torin is released right back into Joey's arms, where they reunite on the steps of the jailhouse in all of their glory. They go home and they fuck it out, because of course they do. They have beautiful, lovely, wonderful sex. And at the very end, she's like, so we're married, huh? And he's like, who the fuck told you? Goldie told her. He was trying to keep it from her. Goldie told her. And she's not mad about it. She's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm pretty cool with this. We could be together forever. Yeah, why not? And he gets down on one knee and gives her a ring, because he also went and bought her a ring.
Aww.
Actually, Mal bought her a ring, because it's incredibly fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Goldie. Somebody got her a ring because it was incredibly fucking expensive and Torin couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
So he proposes to her and they will be human married. In fact, what he asks her when he gets down on one knee is, he's thinking like, they said it was supposed to make like a little speech and say what I was feeling, and all he can think to say is, I love you so fucking much, will you human marry me?
That's what I said to you.
That's exactly what you said to me. And you were also naked, which is exactly what Torin was. Torin was naked too. You proposed to me naked too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big reveal.
I am pretty sure a lot of proposals happen while nude. Don't even worry about it.
I'm not. I mean, I'm just shocked that you were so open about it.
I don't care. I don't care if people know that you were nude when you asked me to marry you.
It's okay. I mean, your parents were a little upset about it, but you know, whatever.
Oh, well, that's only because we did it at SeaWorld.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And that's why I'm not allowed at SeaWorld anymore.
Oh, my God. Okay. So, wrapping all of that up in a pretty little bow, I think I've told the entire story to you. Epilogue, 2 months later. In her brand new cherry red 4x4 truck named Big Red, which Torin bought for her with some of the settlement money they got from Wynn's rampage. Because Wynn was forced to pay out damages and suffering. Joey and Torin drive to the university, where Torin is returning to cake decorating class and Joey is going to emergency response driver's training. Because if there's one place where you can drive real fast, it's in an ambulance. And, amongst other things, Frankie and Joe's destroyed house actually paid out incredibly well, because Joe is really, really into making sure the insurance policies are good.
Yeah.
So they got paid out an incredible amount of money. They bought a house that is much more accommodating to their children's giant partners, because they both have huge partners.
Would they buy airplane hangar?
I don't know, some kind of new build. And Joe helped Torin insure himself so that if he ever saw red again, he would not be liable for the damages. Same as how werewolves are not liable for damages on the moon. This is like a thing, like not on the moon, but on the full moon.
Yeah.
Werewolves can't turn into Oh, Lord. Werewolves aren't liable for damages they make on the moon. Okay, fuck. Werewolves are not liable for damages that they may cause on the full moon.
Mm-hmm.
So why should Torin be liable for damages that he causes when he is provoked by other people?
Yeah.
I love it. We have saved the day with really good underwriting. It's beautiful. And they all lived hornily well insured. The end.
Good gravy.
That was a really long one. I didn't expect it to go that long.
It did.
Sorry.
No, it's it's okay.
But again, this is what happens when I really love the book.
Yeah.
I put too much of the book in the notes because I want to tell you all of it because it was just so fucking good.
I could tell. I mean, I always edit this part out, but I'm like, we're almost at an hour, and she's like, oh fuck.
I know. Oh fuck. I was like halfway through the book.
We don't. I mean, we don't.
At that point, I was like rushing through the ending because I was just like, I loved this. I loved this book. I loved the premise and the world that was built, and I just wanted to give you all the little pieces of it so you could love it as much as I did.
But hey, now people, when they go out and read this book, they will have more gaps to fill in.
Yes.
And that's fine. And I'm into that. But what are you into?
Ooh, nice transition.
Thank you.
What am I into? That's a really good question. What am I into this week? Honestly, the real answer is that I'm into stretching.
Yeah, you are.
I am so into stretching. I have back problems. Like I've had back problems for a while. I was told in my 20s that I have a mild scoliosis of the lower back, which is why my tailbone sticks out as far as it does. Apparently, I didn't know that my tailbone stuck out farther than usual. But I suspect that's why my butt is as big as it is, because the way my body is made is this, my butt sticks out
I
far.
fucking love your scoliosis.
But anyway, I've been having a lot of back problems lately, and I've been stretching a lot, and stretching helps. If you were in your 30s and you're not stretching every day, you should start. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So I'm really into stretching. What are you into?
I am into the book that I am currently reading, which is not it is not a baseball book this time.
Oh wow, yeah, that's right.
It is a brilliant work of fiction called Hell is a World Without You by Jason Kirk. It is such a sweet book. It follows a young man named Isaac who he comes from a deeply religious. It's based loosely on Jason Kirk's upbringing in the evangelical South. So the dialogue is so perfect. The language is perfect. It's set in the year 2000. So there are a lot of very specific references. And it's sweet. And he is a 14-year-old boy, Isaac is, who has lost his father. We slowly learn how his father died and whether or not it was an accident, because you'd have to read the book. But anyway, I can't say enough good things about it. I'm only a couple chapters in, but I'm already deeply in love with it. So I will put a link in the show notes. Go check it out if it sounds like your thing. I highly encourage you to do that. But that's what I'm reading. What are you going to be reading for the show next?
Next week, I am reading, drum roll please, Honey White and the 69 Dwarves. You're goddamn right, Carl.
Can we just record it now?
I haven't read it yet.
Okay.
Do you want to hear the author's name? Because that's the best part.
Yes, I do.
Dakota Cockaday. So next week we will be reading Honey White and the 69 Dwarves by Dakota Cockaday.
Thank God.
Honestly, I'm really excited because I've been following Dakota Cockaday on TikTok for a long time, and I want to read one of her books really bad. So we're doing this one, and I can't fucking wait.
I can't either, but we are going to have to wait. But in the meantime, you can find us on social media. We are on Instagram and TikTok at Cheap Smut. If you would like to send us an email, please do so at cheapsmutpod@gmail.com. The music that you hear in this and every episode is called Nostalgia by Mackay Beats. You can find it along with thousands of other songs free of charge for you to use at the Free Music Archive, freemusicarchive.org. That's what I forgot last week. If you would like to find this book, you can go to our link tree, which is on our Instagram. It's always the top link. We do not get any money from this. We are just trying to help the authors out. Speaking of money, if you would like to spend $1 a month to support Cheap Smut on Patreon, we would love it if you did so. Like these fine folks: Jemma, Lady Squishy Buns, Tia Esk, Rob Gatika, Angela McNichols, Katie Hurd, Gwendolyn Harper, Seneca O, and Rebecca K. If you would like to hear me say your name along with those people's names, go to Patreon, look for Cheap Smut. It only costs $1 a month because, after all, this is Cheap Smut. Now, it is time for us to put this baby to bed and go enjoy our evening.
Absolutely. Listener, if there is a book in you, write it. And if there's fucking in it, I'll read it.
And then she will come on this show and explain it to me for your entertainment.
Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.